Go call him back. I need a moment alone to process this anyway.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm not leaving you like this.
Like what? I said, forcing what I hoped was a convincing smile. Sitting in a tropical paradise? Seriously, go make your call. Matt scurried off toward our hotel room, casting a few worried glances over his shoulder. When he disappeared around the corner, I let my smile fade. I felt as though I'd been riding in a car and the driver had unexpectedly slammed on the brakes. Everything had stopped. I was shocked and confused, but also embarrassed for the person I was a few minutes ago who didn't see this coming. My eyes drifted to the stack of celebrity magazines next to my chair. The one on top was splayed open, Aruba's aggressive trade winds flipping its pages, creating a mini moving picture, the famous Jessicas, Jennifers, and Kates of the world morphing into one another, much the way they do in real life. I'd been reading the magazines for work. For the last several years, I'd worked as a pop culture blogger, churning out stories on a half-hourly basis. In turn, celebrities provided me with constant material by getting married, getting divorced, getting arrested, getting too fat, getting too thin, or just leaving the house for coffee. Yes, the job was fairly absurd, but at nearly 6 figures, so was the salary. 20 feet away, palm trees waved fiercely. We'd been told not to put our chairs under them because coconuts can drop and bonk people on the head, knocking them unconscious. I had a sudden urge to move my chair over there. Instead, I stood up and crunched through the sand toward the hotel. I marched down the steps of the hotel pool and plowed through the shallow end, bouncing from leg to leg like a moon man on a spacewalk, until I reached the swim-up bar. This vacation had been a reward to myself. For those days I arrived at the office at 6:00 a.m. and didn't leave until 9:00 p.m., for working on Christmas Day, for making myself care who won The Bachelor. For the first time in months, I'd started to relax. That was obviously shot to hell now. I needed to get out of my head for a while, and I needed reinforcements. Settling in on one of the submerged stools, I waved over the bartender who'd been taking care of us for the last few days. "Okay, Hector, we have a situation," I said. "Bring the bottle of Jack Daniels and a shot glass." I briefly relayed what had happened. He nodded understandingly and poured a shot for me and one for himself. We held our tiny glasses in the air. Clink. The liquor burned a fiery trail down my throat. He immediately poured a second shot. Next, I adopted a large family of piña coladas, forcing Hector to add rum until they turned brown. 40 minutes later, Matt found me passed out on a lounge chair, wearing Hector's baseball cap that said, "Aruba, the bar is open." 3 weeks later, I'd traded swim-up bars for coffee shops. Every day I went to some local cafe and trolled the classifieds for job openings. The economy had imploded seemingly overnight. Economists predicted the country was on the brink of a long recession. The Great Recession, they were calling it. No one was hiring. Not even the coffee shops. I'd already asked. One morning I'd chosen a coffee shop where all of the baristas had facial piercings and tattoos. I got the impression they were judging me for ordering a latte. I placed my aging laptop on a table near the window, and it groaned to life as though annoyed at being woken up at this hour. While the computer booted up, I snapped open the newspaper. A headline on the front page blared, 80,000 jobs lost in March. I had been laid off in March. It felt weird doing nothing. I once spent 14 hours a day cranking out blog posts and hysterically checking about 30 celebrity websites to stay abreast of breaking news. My BlackBerry had vibrated endlessly with gossip tidbits from fellow reporters. One time, I took a 90-minute flight, and by the time we landed, I'd received 119 emails. When I wasn't at work, I was recovering from work. I felt so available most of the time that, in my downtime, I wanted to make myself as unavailable as possible. This meant going straight home after work every night, flopping onto my IKEA sofa and watching people on television do the things that I was too tired to do myself. Within months, I was closely following the lives of about 50 fictional people, yet I had no idea what was going on with my friends. Even the thought of socializing had become